Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. Oh, no, folks. This is bad. Goes up to 8 energy. Oh, wait. Do they not have the Marvel? Oh, my goodness. Greetings, everyone. I am glad to be here, and I am glad that you are here. Today's deck, of course, is going to be a food deck. We are, you know, there's already mono green food in standard. I don't think that's a surprise. So we're going to take you back to historic for our food deck. As one might expect, that's going to involve the Cauldron Familiar Witch's Oven combo. Most of you will be familiar with this. Witch's Oven says, sacrifice a creature, you get a food. You get more food if it was a bigger creature. But sacrifice a creature, get a food. Cauldron Familiar is, when it enters, each opponent loses a life, we gain a life. But you can sacrifice a food to return Cauldron Familiar from the graveyard to the battlefield. So if you use Witch's Oven to sacrifice Cauldron Familiar, you get a food, then you just return it. Now, the Witch's Oven is tapped, so you can only do that once a turn, but every turn you get to go through this cycle. It was in standard for a while. The oven got banned. I believe it was the oven, or was it the cat? I don't know. No, it was the cat that got banned. In standard, because it was really slow, a bit obnoxious, and not very much fun if it was going to be a tier strategy. So naturally, that's what we're doing here. Our deck does have a little more nuance than that, though. We're not just an all-in on Cauldron Familiar deck. It is one of our best ways of winning the game, so we have 3 Bastion of Remembrance to support that. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So that'll speed up our clock some. It's also an enchantment, so it's difficult to remove. But yeah, I mean, darn it, folks, we're a food deck. So our card advantage engine is Trail of Crumbs. And to support that, we have Savvy Hunter and Gilded Goose to be making extra foods. Some of our best removal here is just the Wicked Wolf. That fights a creature when it enters, and then you can sacrifice a food, give it a 1/1 counter, it gains indestructible until the end of turn. You do have to tap it when you do that, though, so it is not free. But then we also have Death Touch, Gifted Aetherborn for some lifelink, and the Bloodchief's Thirst for just generic removal of anything, including Planeswalkers. And then Woe Strider to make sure that our sacrifice theme stays on point. But more importantly, folks, where is that extra something? What else is going on in this deck? This is just whatever. Well, here's the reason. We're in historic for our food deck. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, each opponent sacrifices a creature, and you return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That's right, folks. We're a Witch of the Moors deck. So it really makes sense for the Cauldron Familiar, when we gain a life, they lose a life thing, to be triggering this Witch of the Moors and hopefully really influencing the board. I'm really excited about being able to play this card some. It's possible this is supposed to be a 4 of, because this is really what we're trying to accomplish here. Even more than the Cauldron Familiar thing. But it is a 5-mana 4/4 that doesn't necessarily do anything this turn. So I feel like it's probably a little irresponsible in deck building to be centering too much around that. So we've got the rest of the package here. I don't think too much of this is going to be really surprising. Let's just see if it's viable and historic. The best way to do that, though, is to take it out for a spin. Why don't you join me? All right, folks. Here we are up against Billy Butcher, and darn it, gonna have to mulligan this hand. I am not excited about that. But yeah, this hand is okay. We can keep this one. I wouldn't describe this as like amazing or legendary or anything, but yeah, it's good. Interaction, we have half the combo, and we have one of our supporting combo pieces here. We're going to send back one of the Bastions of Remembrance, because we will need to maintain our lands, obviously. But, you know, for now, I think this is fine. We'll see what our opponent is up to. Billy Butcher also goes to 6. Feels good. Oh, no, stop that. Grab the wrong card out of my hand. I do that all the time, folks. the source of a fairly significant number of punts on my behalf. All right, well, Trail of Crumbs. Go on ahead, Billy Butcher. Thinking it over. Rootbound Crag and Servant of the Conduit. All right. Yeah, all right. Let's just Bastion of Remembrance here. Get a 1/1. Pass the turn. It's been a while since I've used this Witch's Oven in any capacity at all, so need to make sure I don't punt with it here. We're going to pass for now. Opponent's stuck on 2 lands, so I think we are just going to go ahead, kill a Servant to the Conduit, advance the board with a Gifted Aetherborn, get in for 1, and possibly start drawing cards to Trail of Crumbs as time goes on. Harness Lightning, sure. Up to 7 energy. That's a lot. That's a lot. All right, 3 of it goes away. We gain a life. They lose a life. Opponent goes back down to 4 energy. Gets in for 2. This is fine. We drop to 17. Opponent remains at 18. Oh, boy. Savvy Hunter is a good one. Ladies and gents. All right, let's get in for 1. Opponent's still stuck on 2 lands. They are likely not excited about that. They have 3 permanents on board. We have 10 permanents on board. And yeah, that's unfortunate. Opponent got mana screwed there, but I do think we were about to go to do some really, really good stuff here. Even if they had made a land drop and started doing other cool stuff themselves, when we attack or block, making a food token means that the food we've already got is about to start drawing us a lot of extra cards. We've already got stuff online. We're draining them. As soon as we draw into a Witch of the Moors or something, our opponent's life gets really, really difficult. So yeah, they kind of got, you know, stuck on mana, and that likely accounts for this win. But darn it, I think we were poised to really do some very cool things. So don't discount the fact that I think we were very favored in this game based on the way things, or even just our opponent missing a land drop or 2. Much less the way things turned out. So either way, good game, Billy Butcher. Good game. All right, folks, here we are. Yeah, I think we're going to keep this. We are up against Catalian. Good luck, Catalian. Let's just go ahead and get down a Witch's Oven. Our opponent's on Chandra Sleeves, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. They were just really cool to have. Oh, boy, look at this, folks. We got the Cauldron Familiar. Yes, please. That is a good one. Opponent reading Witch's Oven? Surely they've seen this before. There aren't too many people playing the game who haven't seen this combo. All right, Witch's Oven going to be activated. Make ourselves a food. Catalian. Hanging on to that priority there. Thinking about it. We are not going to be greedy, folks. It is possible for us to return the Cauldron Familiar to the battlefield and be able to attack with it, but I think that's just greedy. Our opponent could have an exile spell or something like that that would really get us here, so we're just going to wait. Leave it in the graveyard for now. Yep. Opponent Gets down a Sacred Foundry and passes. All right, well, now we are going to return our food, or our Cauldron Familiar, to the battlefield. Do a wee bit of draining. Opponent has priority on their turn. Thinking about it. Doesn't do anything. We sacrifice the cat. Bastion of Remembrance going to do its thing as well. Yep. Let's make a food. Again, as with last turn, we are not going to be returning it to the battlefield. There's no reason to lose our Cauldron Familiar over something silly. We do have the ability to kind of get it back by sacrificing the 1/1 if our opponent does not have exile removal. But I think that's not a given. Our opponent easily could have exile removal, right? So, you know, we're not going to play with that proverbial fire there. Legion Angel. All right. Sure. Well, let's do this thing. Yep. And our turn. Yeah, folks, we're just going to go ahead and Witch of the Moors. Gonna attack with a 1/1. See if our opponent blocks. Nope, damage is dealt. Fine. We're going to sacrifice the 1/1. Do a little bit of draining. Return the Cauldron Familiar from the graveyard to the hand. Cause them to have to sacrifice their Legion Angel. I think this is fine. We now do have 2 stockpiled foods just awaiting. And of course, we get to cast this Cauldron Familiar. If it gets sacrificed, fine. Okay, Bone Crusher Giant. And Bone Crusher Giant? Indeed. All right, fine. Yeah, wee bit of draining. We're up 27. Opponent drops to 11. And Ralgren Triumph coming on down. Sure, well, we're going to go ahead, cast the Cauldron Familiar from our hand, do a little bit of draining, get down a Trail of Crumbs, and folks, this is kind of looking pretty good for us, all things considered. The Gilded Goose also going to advance our board here, not just with the goose itself, but with a 4th food. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of foods just waiting to be cracked for this Trail of Crumbs. Shark Typhoon coming on down. Well, that is a very powerful Magic card, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually going to return it to the battlefield this time. Yes. That one. Because our opponent's tapped out, and this is a very good opportunity to try and scoot some damage. So, Woe Strider. Coming on down, going to be a 0/1. Yeah, we are actually going to hold on to the Wicked Wolf here. So that we can chomp a Shark Typhoon token or a Legion Angel, potentially. What is our opponent planning to do here? It's got to be good. They are in a real pickle here. No question about it. Inspired Ultimatum. All right, so let's... Cauldron Familiar. Sacrifice food. I mean, sure. Woe Strider. Drain our opponent. Cauldron Familiar. I don't think we need to go through this whole rigmarole, folks. I should probably just be declining that. I don't mean to BM our opponent here. I guess it's one of those habits where, you know, if you're used to accruing value and trying to go through the sequence, you're just going to do it. But I don't mean to BM our good friend Katalian here. No, decline. And GG Katalian. GG. All right, folks. Feels good. That was a robust win to be certain. I feel like our opponent had likely quite a bit of interaction there. It's just the way our deck plays. If you are ahead on tempo, even by a little bit, you're able to play more defensively and really make it difficult for your opponent to deploy that interaction. So GG opponent, GG. All right, folks. Here we are up against Rhapsody. Good luck, Rhapsody. We don't have any green sources. This is pretty iffy, but we are on the draw. We do have Witch's Oven and Bastion of Remembrance, as well as a way to delay the game with Gifted Aetherborn. I think we're going to keep this and likely complain about it later. You know, that's that seems to be a pretty common theme for me. Witch's Oven, making an appearance. Servant of the Conduit. Oh, boy. Our opponent's doing energy-related things, folks. That is scary. All right. Gifted Aetherborn, come on down. As a 2/3 lifelink death touch. Draw a magic card to be sure. All right. You know what? No. We shocked in the Overgrown Tomb here because I was thinking, let's just Bastion of Remembrance in case they have removal. They likely, if they had removal, they likely would have deployed it, or if they wanted to use, like, Harness Lightning or something, they likely would have used it by shocking in the Stomping Ground or something. So we're just going to go ahead and advance the board with a Savvy Hunter. This could be a mistake, but I don't think we have the luxury of just waiting around forever. I assume this is Aetherworks Marvel. And Aetherworks Marvel is a terrifying magic card, folks. That can get out of hand in a hurry. So all right. Bastion of Remembrance. Come on down. Okay, it does resolve. So if the opponent does interact with our creatures now, at least we do drain for a little bit more. Okay, Harness Lightning. Fine. Yeah. If they were going to do that, they should have done it in response to Bastion of Remembrance, I think. It's not... I don't blame them for being a little cautious there, but that drain does help us a reasonable amount. So, I don't know. That, yeah, a little strange. A little strange. You know, I wouldn't say it's a massive punt or anything, but because it is only a 1 life each direction swing, and their deck typically goes over the top. They're gonna kill us with an Ugin or an Ulamog or something normally. So all right, well, let's Wicked Wolf, get the Servant of the Conduit out of the way. And get in. Opponent drops to 12. Sure. We'll see what Rhapsody's about over there. Valakut Awakening. Gonna go see a whole bunch more cards. That is terrifying, folks. because they you know, what they didn't have before, they likely have now. That's seeing a lot of cards. And we have a robust clock down, but they can, if they have it next turn, they just cast it, right? And then we can potentially just die. Right? Okay. Well, we are going to sacrifice it in response. No reason to let our opponent do the draw, put on bottom stuff. This also obviously just gives us an opportunity to have Witch's Oven gain us some more food. There's really not a reason to forego that opportunity, you know? All right, well, we're going to try and play around a little more spot removal here. All right, attune with either. Opponent goes up to 5 energy, gets a mountain. Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. Oh no, folks, this is bad. Goes up to 8 energy. Oh, wait. Do they not have the Marvel? Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. That was wrong, wasn't it? We should have ate those foods before we did the damage. Oh, gosh. Yeah, that was a punt, folks. That one might cost us the game. Oof. We'll see. It shouldn't still. Genesis Ultimate. Okay, well, they could get Ugin and Ulamog here, and that would definitely do it. Okay, they don't. Okay, they do get the Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot. That's annoying. Yeah. Up to 15 energy. Good grief. We'll have, yeah, access to 3 mana here. And then 2 more if they untap a forest land. Tune with Aether. Yeah, folks, not eating those foods. Man, that's brutal. I was thinking we were going to be dropping them down to 1, and we were just going to sacrifice something with Witch's Oven. But there was still that. Yeah, that's just not a good excuse. That was a punt, you know. Feels bad. All right, so our opponent can gain 3 more life here. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they do it. Up to 8. Well, folks, thank heavens we didn't get punished there. In fairness, we kind of should have been punished, I think. But we weren't. And holy cow, thank heavens. So GG, Rhapsody, GG. It was a good game indeed. All right, folks, we're back. Honestly, I had a lot of fun. It was a good deck. You know, I'm likely to probably get a little bit of grief here for running a little bit more of a meta strategy here around the Cauldron Familiar, Witch's Oven stuff. But I don't care. Darn it, we haven't played very much of that on this stream, and it's Thanksgiving. I wanted a food deck for Thanksgiving because, darn it, that's a lot of fun. I was actually really concerned we would run into a lot of Grafdigger's Cages. It's a very, very good card in the format right now. Goblins are still running around, and Cage is very good against them. But more importantly, Aetherworks Marvel. Folks, you are casting cards from your library. Grafdigger's Cage shuts that off. And then there's a number of, you know, Uro is still legal in this format, darn it. So just shutting off Uro recursion and stuff like that, also not too terrible. So Cages, pretty common, and that shutting down our entire Cauldron Familiar package was a little bit worrisome. Hence, a whole bunch of this other stuff going on. Admittedly, though, we only played 4 games, and in our 4 games, we never did run into one. So, I count ourselves a little lucky there. But I did have fun playing it. I think the Witch of the Moors, when it happened, was very fun and cool. I do still kind of regret not having 4 of them in the list, though. So I'm not sure what I would cut, though, to bring another one in. Maybe just the Gifted Aetherborn. The problem is, we are a little light on interaction, all things considered. So the Gifted Aetherborn is both interaction in that it's Death Touch, so it trades up, but it's also a clock. So if our opponent's doing a lot of nothing forever, we can just keep beating down with Gifted Aetherborn. And even just connecting 2 or 3 times with a 2/2, or with a 2-power creature, I should say, is going to make the Cauldron Familiar package so much easier to just go off and just win the game, right? Just connecting just very few times. So, I don't know. It is possible, though, we need to explore that option. That said, I don't know. It didn't seem too bad. I would like you guys' input on it. Tell me what sorts of things you might do differently to have a good food deck. I just really appreciate you guys tuning in on Thanksgiving, darn it. You know, I mean, it's a holiday, but you folks here taking advantage of the content anyway, I appreciate it. Normally I do stream on Thursdays, of course, but it's Thanksgiving. I'm not going to be streaming tonight. So I do wish you all a wonderful, wonderful holiday, and I will catch you all next time.